We have a very special G80 here today, and it's not mine. It's my buddy Casey's, Florida G80 on Instagram.
Yep.
Here's his frozen Portimao Blue G80. He's gonna take us through. Oh, here are the wives laughing at us.
Creeping behind the corner.
Nope, you guys are gonna be in it. My friend Casey here, he's gonna take you through the spec, tell you what's done to his car, and then we'll go for a drive, get some exhaust clips and some driving clips. So tell us about the spec, and then we'll start with the outside.
Sure. So yeah, for the spec, most obvious thing is going to be the individual paint. It's individual frozen Portimao blue. So this was a special color that they optioned, I think, for like 2022.
Do they not make it anymore?
I don't know, actually. I'm not really sure. I think that you could get it on different, like maybe another year.
So
but
this is a 2022
2022
X-Drive.
X-Drive competition, all the fun stuff. Not very high spec, to be honest with you. It has the sunroof instead of the carbon fiber roof. It's got the executive package on it, so it has things like the heads-up display, the full leather on the interior.
So let's talk about the wheels. These are BBS RIDs. Correct?
RIDs, yep.
D meaning?
D, Duralumin, so it's just a special material that the wheels are made out of.
I said D. Special D. So these are the materials called Duralumin. Is it a magnesium wheel?
Yeah, it's like a magnesium, aluminum, copper tri-blend thing that BBS came up with on their own. So the idea being that they're like stronger than forged wheels or forged aluminum wheels, and also lighter than them too. So they're pretty light. I think that the only lighter wheel is the one that you have. The FIRs are like a pound lighter on each wheel, I want to say.
Yeah, so we have a cool BBS lineup here. We have the RIDs, and then we have the FIR Evos on my car. These are hype. What's the color of the wheel?
Diamond silver.
Diamond silver.
Yeah.
So traditional silver looking wheel. It looks very clean with your paint. And then the center caps, are they paint matched, or is that just a...
No, that's just off the shelf. I think I'd like to paint match them eventually. Maybe go for like silver BBS text instead of gold, because that doesn't really match anything on the car. But for the time being, it doesn't look too bad. So I'm pretty happy with it.
Got it. And then the carbon on the car. So we have the duckbill, or I'm not sure what you call it, but this kind of spoiler, same style that I have. And then you have the diffuser. Where are the parts from?
Yep, so these are both from MHC. I think they're like a UK-based company or something like that. Really high quality, really high fitment. I don't think these are like you can't find these from Alibaba and find a different non-branded version of these. I think that they make these in-house. I'm not 100% certain, but...
And you have the F1
Yep.
taillight.
Yeah, so it's the F1 style, so the brake lights up red when you, or the light taps up when you hit the brakes.
And this car is fully PPF'd?
Yep. So just because of the frozen paint, I didn't want to worry about, any
Rock
sort of
chips
chips or scratches or burn poop and stuff like that.
That's one of the reasons. I mean, I don't have an individual spec, but I've heard that having frozen paint is kind of scary, because if you scratch this up, you can't just get touch-up paint or go to a shop.
Exactly. Like they have to blend the whole body panel, which ends up being more expensive. If you have to repaint multiple panels, it can start to look pretty bad. So
it's a good investment if you have frozen paint to get the stealth PPF.
Yeah, I would say so, especially if it's a car that you want to hold long term. Like for me, this isn't a lease. It wasn't something I was planning to get rid of. So for me, it was important to keep it for years in as good a condition as possible. So yeah, you can see, I mean, there's like little dings and whatnot that the PPF has eaten up. So it's definitely been worth the money. It was pretty pricey for what it was, but I think the peace of mind was worth it for me, just because I plan on keeping this car for a long time. And so I didn't want to have to worry about,
So what's the front carbon? You have the CSL style grille.
Yes.
And then
so we got CSL style grille, the like M Performance looking air ducts, and then a front lip. The front lip is from Sturkin. These two pieces, the grille and then the air ducts, are from Autotechnic.
Okay.
So yeah, the Sturkin
one.
I
noticed you have the mesh to protect.
Yeah. So this is actually Amazon mesh. And nothing fancy. You can kind of see it's chipping a little bit here and there, but the reason I did this is I just didn't want to have the fins and the coolers getting beaten up too bad by rocks and debris and whatnot. So having the honeycomb mesh on there, I think it looks good. Not a lot of people have it. And then the other part being just the protection factor. So.
All right. What were you saying about Sturkin? This
Oh, so
lip?
yeah, so this is a lip from Sturkin. They're a brand based out of Poland, which is pretty cool.
My carbon is from Poland too. I guess the Polish people make good carbon, huh?
I guess so. I don't know. So I've never seen another G80 that has this lip.
I
It's
haven't seen it either. It looks
yeah,
good.
it's pretty unique. It's not as aggressive or like as low as some of the other ones, but I think it's a really clean look. And it's just something different.
Yeah, and then this car, like you said, it wasn't highly spec'd.
Yeah, not
Did
really.
not have,
No laser lights and no buckets.
but
So those
but you
were
retrofitted some.
yes. So those are
So
two
no
things that I
more
did
poverty
myself.
lights. We have the full angel eye ring laser lights.
Yep. So I got the laser lights from Bay Optics. I think that these are probably just like an Alibaba rebrand. I'm not 100% certain.
They look, I mean, I've looked at these before, and I wouldn't be able to tell the difference between these and the OEM.
Yeah, I know Bay Optics says that it uses they use like the OEM cores and the OEM light modules and everything, but I think the actual housing itself.
It even says BMW laser inside.
Yeah.
And the cool part is, if you notice on mine, I have the little yellow sticker in the laser headlight, and then in yours you don't. So you kind of have a cleaner look in a way.
Yeah, and it also doesn't have the amber side marker that goes right there.
Oh,
So
okay.
the US spec has an amber side marker. EU spec, which this one is, doesn't have that. And then
Continuing with the outside, what's the car lowered on?
so this is on KW's height adjustable spring kit. So nothing too crazy. I think it was like $1,100, so pretty friendly.
I had that previously on my car. It gives it a good drop.
Yeah, so it's not a bad drop. It's not as nice as yours, but it's pretty good. And then some spacers as well, just to kind of help it out. Not a lot of people know this, but BMW doesn't really make aggressive fitting wheels from factory. So you're almost required to put spacers on there, which I did just because I wanted to have that kind of meaty, flush look to it. So I have 7mm spacers in the back and then 15 in the front. And it's pretty nicely matched. It does rub a little bit, but it got the stance that
When
I
you
was looking
said
for.
BMW doesn't make. You
Or
mean
sorry,
BBS.
BBS. Yeah, BBS doesn't make very
So
aggressive
BBS,
fitment.
yeah, he was saying that BBS for some reason just doesn't make the most aggressive fitment for these wheels. So we're kind of required to run spacers, unfortunately. All right, so tell us about what exhaust. We're not gonna start the car up just yet, but what exhaust do you have on here?
So this is AWE's Track Edition axle back. So there's no valve controller, there's no muffler box. It's just
It's
piping.
basically a straight pipe.
Yeah, and that's actually true for the whole exhaust essentially. So I've got Active AutoWorks Gezi catted downpipes in there, and then after the downpipes we've got Active AutoWorks equal length mid pipe, and then that goes back to the AW Track Edition exhaust. So it's just got the cats and the downpipes, which are like high flow, and then it's straight pipe the whole way back with no valve controller, muffler box, or anything like that. So.
All right, so we'll get some driving clips coming up. Don't leave just yet. We'll get some, put the mic on the back, and then we'll get some sounds from the inside as well. So next, take us through the inside.
So
We see peeking through the, we have a roll bar.
yep, so we have a roll cage from Studio RSR. It's not bolted in at the moment, so it's just in there right now for aesthetics, but at some point I plan to get that fully bolted in and
You just
mounted.
got it recently, so
Yeah,
you're kind of
yeah.
working on that.
Yeah, I got it maybe like 3 weeks ago, a month ago, so I'm just waiting on an extra kit of hardware, and then I should be good to get that fully installed, and then we'll do the seat delete as well. That kind of covers up that back portion so you can't see into the trunk. It's like,
So it'll be kind of like a carpet type of finish.
yeah, it's like a
back here.
full Alcantara suede looking thing in black, so it should match the interior pretty well.
Okay.
That'll help match the
And
buckets as
again,
well.
this wasn't a highly spec G80, but we do have the carbon buckets. This car
Yeah.
didn't come with them originally, correct?
Yeah. So didn't come with the buckets originally. I got lucky that there was somebody locally who was looking to trade off their black buckets for my black comfort seats. So I was able to just throw a couple $1,000s on top, did the swap locally, had it coated locally. So the buckets work exactly as they should. They function well. They've got all the heating elements and everything like that for them. So got pretty lucky because, yeah, people are
So,
asking a lot for
Being
these.
that you had the car with comfort seats and now you have the buckets, besides the looks, how would you say the comfort is?
Honestly, my wife likes it a lot more. She calls it like her like car seat essentially because it's really comfortable. The seats hug you pretty tight. I think the only thing that I changed significantly from going from comfort seats to bucket seats is that the bucket seats, like, you can feel more feedback in your like butt essentially from the road. So
you
there's
like
more
to
feedback.
feel stuff in your butt.
I love feeling stuff in my butt.
I mean, they look sick, especially with the contrast of the roll cage, the white roll cage with the carbon backs. Looks like a race car. You gonna be racing this thing or something?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Maybe one day. Maybe when I do a single turbo conversion, which is on the books for some point. But once I get that taken care of, then maybe.
Okay, and then we have, this is a 22, guys, so this has the older iDrive 7 system like I have, so we don't have the curved screen. What do you think? You like the new iDrive 8, or do you prefer
No,
the
I
old
actually,
iDrive 7?
yeah. So when I was buying this car, I was actually planning to buy one factory brand new and spec it the way I wanted and everything. But I found out from the dealership that I was going through that by the time I was going to place my order, it was going to be converted into a 2023 model, which means I would have had that iDrive 8 with the big, like billboard-esque looking display, which I just don't like. I like the way that this looks. It looks classic, but I wanted the all-digital dash. So I had to buy this used, but that's because I wasn't willing to sacrifice iDrive 7 for the billboard of iDrive 8.
And then we have the Alcantara M Performance armrest. Is that what you call it?
Yeah, and that's really just
for looks.
Yeah, just for looks. Helps match the interior a little bit more.
I think this looks amazing with black interior. I don't agree with how it looks with any other interior. Like, I wouldn't put it in mine because I have red, and just having like a black piece slapped on a non-black interior doesn't look good. But on here, I think it looks perfect because you have the Alcantara side bolsters on the seats, and then it kind of works very well with the Alcantara on the armrest here. And not even all the colors of the carbon buckets have the Alcantara siding. So if you get the red, Fiona red, you get the blue, or you get ivory, it's a full leather seat.
Yeah, there's no. It's actually something I didn't realize before I put the carbon fiber buckets in the car. I didn't realize that there was a variation between the colors and whatnot. So I don't know. It looks better. It actually matches the interior a little bit more, like the armrest, like you were saying. But yeah, I didn't think that there was a difference, honestly.
Okay. So Casey, you forgot to mention, not only is he lowered, but you also have what done to the suspension?
So I have a monoball conversion for the front suspension. What that does is it replaces the rubber bushing that's normally in there with like a solid aluminum one. I think it's a billet aluminum one. And it really tightens up the steering feel. There's not as much rebound or as much play in the steering. It's very direct and pointed. Obviously not anything like, you know, a GT3 from a Porsche or anything, but
so it definitely helps. You kind of get that dead feel away.
Exactly.
These bushings. What brand are they?
It's from Fall Line Motorsports. They're a pretty heavily like track and performance oriented company. So it's worked out pretty well so far. I think I've had it on the car for 2 years, no issues.
Okay, so now let's go for a drive. We'll get Casey to talk about what's done to the car regarding transmission. We'll get some exhaust clips, and then we'll get just some interior shots of driving.
Perfect.
So, for the people complaining about how hard it is to get in and out of buckets, I'm going to demonstrate that it's very easy while holding my phone, and I'm actually not even going to hit the bolster. And we're in. Wow, it's loud in here.
Yeah. There they go.
The wives are waving at us. So we're driving through my neighborhood. Calm, I have to say we're driving normal, and a car alarm just went off. So this thing's pretty loud.
Yeah, it definitely sets off alarms in the parking garage if I'm not careful with it, which I try to be respectful and not have it too obnoxious in the parking garage, but yeah, it happens. It definitely happens.
So just as a reminder, he has the AWE track exhaust, so it doesn't have a muffler, no valves, so you don't really have control over how loud it is. It's either...
No.
It's just loud.
Yeah, really the only thing you can control is the burbles. So if it's in like, if I don't put it in M mode or anything like that, which I have configured for like Sport Plus, it doesn't do any burbles at all, but the second you flip it into Sport or Sport Plus, it's extremely loud burbles. So that's usually the way I keep it tame, is by keeping it like in the comfort mode or eco modes, whenever I don't want it to be too obnoxious.
You're not tuned. You don't have an ECU tune.
No.
But you do have a...
XHP. So I have XHP for the transmission, to help snapping up the shifts a little bit.
I think my next mod is XHP.
You really should.
That's insane, guys.
It honestly adds so much personality to the car.
It feels like a DCT.
Yeah, and it's almost instantaneous.
That, not only does it shift quick, but the sound you get is incredible.
Yeah, it sounds a lot more aggressive on an upshift. And the same with the downshifts. I have the downshift set up, so they're a little bit more aggressive too. So it's not as noticeable, but The upshifts are where you can really tell.
So we have a big Florida twisty coming up here. Your typical roundabout. Wow.
It's honestly, it completely
it feels faster too. Not only does it shift faster, but the car, you're not tuned like we said, but I think it feels faster than a standard transmission.
I know there's people on the forums that have claimed that just stock for stock, just an XHP tune can shave off like 2/10 off of a quarter mile. I don't know if that's true or not because I've never tried it myself.
Well, just sitting here,
it seems true. Like Butt Dino is telling me it's probably true.
Saying like half a second. To be honest,
it's pretty quick. And that, I mean, this is with all the nannies on, so I would assume with traction control and all that stuff on, DSC off or whatever, it's probably even more snappy. This is it being a little bit more restrained.
All right, so in the next part of this video, we're actually going to put the mic on the back of the car, so you won't have us talking, but you'll get some cool exhaust clips. So we're going to cut to that now. All right, we have a very special moment right now. Casey's letting me drive his car. He hasn't let anybody drive it before.
It's true.
But for the sake of YouTube, we're gonna get a little review of me driving, and I'm actually very excited to drive it because it has the XHP tune, and I'm actually considering getting it for my car. So we're gonna do some driving and see how I like it. So if you want to record now. I just want to say I haven't driven an X-Drive G80 before. Mine is a rear wheel drive, non-X-Drive, so this is like a new experience to me. So you tell me, what mode should I start in?
It's in M2 already, so you should be good to go. That's like the spiciest mode. So you should be good to go, yeah. All the nannies are on and everything, so you don't have to worry about it.
I'm asking because it's XHP, so I don't know how the different modes correspond to how the XHP tune is.
Right, so for the car, so if I have it in, like if you click it out of M2 and put it just into regular driving mode, it won't shift super aggressively unless you really get on it.
Okay.
But right now where it's in M2 mode, it'll like, even if you don't give it a lot of throttle, it'll still shift pretty aggressively. So if you want to drive it like a normal car, just take it out of M2 and leave it in regular, but otherwise M2 is going to be...
All right, so I'll drive it as normal, and then we'll turn around, I'll put it in M2, and then we'll get the actual, I guess, XHP shift.
Yeah, that should be perfect.
So we're in drive. This is going to start, like I said, we're going to start off in a normal driving mode, automatic. Wait till this car passes here. All right. And just right off the bat, sitting in these bucket seats feels way different than the comfort seats. I don't know how I like it, but I feel like I'm in a different car.
Yeah, it really, like, it makes it feel like you're not in like a souped up 3 Series anymore. It definitely feels more motorsportsy. Yeah, you can see it'll shift faster. It's not too crazy when you're not in any of the M modes though.
I'm also not used to having heads-up display. I'm looking at the road right now, and I see a tachometer on the road. I'm like, what is that? I'm like, oh, he has heads-up display. I'm poverty spec, so I don't have executive package.
It's honestly, it's really nice for like doing polls and things like that because it either has like an M mode for the heads-up display or like a regular driving mode. In the M mode, it shows like the rev counter building, and it's super nice because you don't have to take your eyes off the road. You could just keep staring straight ahead, and you can kind of just like you passively see it in the beginning of your vision. It's pretty interesting.
All right, so just driving normal, the car feels like stock with this XHP tune. So I'm going to drop it into M2.
Yep.
And make this U-turn here and do a little pull and get my first reaction of not only XHP but also an X-Drive G80. So here's first gear and wow.
Different to yours?
Way different. This feels, some of you may know, I had an M2 competition prior to my M3, which had the DCT transmission, and I have to say that this feels identical, if not faster, than the DCT. This being
Really?
XHP, yeah.
Wow.
I'm gonna do one more pull. Oh my god! Wow.
Yeah, you can't drive this car and not smile. It's just really hard.
Even the mid-range shifts feel way quicker.
Yeah, I think that's honestly where the most noticeable pickup is mid-range. Like, if you're revving it out, then it'll still shift pretty fast. But the mid-range revs are much more noticeable, in my opinion.
Incredible. And again, sitting in these seats feels like, I don't have a supercar, so I can't compare, but I feel like I'm sitting in a supercar.
Do the downshifts feel any different to you compared to your car? Or they're less noticeable?
A little bit. I'm not gonna exaggerate and say it's a crazy difference, but I do notice a little bit with the downshifts. The upshifts are another world.
Yeah, I think the downshifts, it kind of just lurches you forward a little bit more, and it's a little bit more aggressive.
That was a nice downshift there and a lower RPM, actually.
Yeah, I think, like you said, it's more about the upshifts than the downshifts, and you can tune everything, but
yeah. And then we have the monoball steering. It feels nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially if you get out of like a car like mine that has the modification, you get into another car that doesn't, it's much more noticeable.
I like these seats. Do they move up and down as well?
Yeah.
Height?
Yeah, and then the side bolsters adjust as well, so if you want it to be like more, like squeeze harder on your ribs, you can have it squeeze harder on your ribs and your sides. It's pretty cool.
I like the mid-range shifts too.
Yeah, it's got a little bit, I feel like it has like more torque, I guess, to it, more get up.
Yeah, so when you don't have an XHP tune, you kind of have to get lucky on the shift point, and sometimes you get a really nice shift, but in this, it's consistent all the way, or it's consistent every time you press this paddle or shift over here. You get that nice crisp pop.
Yeah, I think it's more confidence inspiring. Like, I always know what the car's going to do. I never feel like if I shift, I don't know, like, if it's going to be really snappy or a little bit lazy, because sometimes the stock transmission can do that.
You guys can't hear, but he has the front mount intakes like I have, and we get the nice whoosh.
Yeah, there you go. You can hear it a little bit there.
I like the buckets, though.
I know, I was really worried I wasn't going to like them. Like,
I'm not a big guy, but I do work out, so my back is a little wide.
Yeah.
They are they snug on you, too?
Yeah, they're pretty snug. I would think, like, if I was any bit taller or, like, wider or whatever, it probably wouldn't be as comfortable. But like you said, like, I got a couple of buddies that all go to the gym pretty regularly, and they're pretty big, and they don't have issues with their buckets. So they kind of just...
Did you guys hear that? Sorry to interrupt. All right, we're pulling back at the M layer. My G80's here. That was a fun drive. I want to thank Casey again. I'm the only other person besides your wife?
Literally, wife drove it once, got terrified, didn't want to drive it again, and I've never let anybody else drive it. So yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I love these seats. Getting in isn't too bad. Getting out is a little more difficult. Like,
yeah,
I think this would be my method here. Is I would hold onto the steering wheel, put my hand.
That's exactly what I do.
Here, and then kind of squeeze out. So if you're 350 pounds, like, these probably aren't good for you.
No.
But if you can move around like a normal person, pretty comfortable and not too bad to get in and out of, to be honest. So, all right, so I'm still smiling after the drive. Thank you, Casey, again, for letting me experience the buckets and the XHP tune and X-Drive. I haven't driven an X-Drive G80 before.
3 firsts.
So that was awesome. So that's it for the review. I'm going to tag his Instagram below. give him a follow. Please don't forget to like and subscribe on this video. I have a lot more coming. Hopefully you enjoyed this review and overview of Casey's G80. Thank you and see you in the next one. Wait, quick cut. I just taught Casey. He was about to walk over to his car to close the windows like a medieval person. But so if you guys don't know, if you double click the lock button and hold it down, the windows will actually go up.
Uh-oh, I remote started it.
No, it's two clicks.
Yeah.
There you go.
There we go. Oh, yeah.
You got him.
Wow, learned something new.